Sit on Ray's knee. There. Now what would you like for Christmas, huh? You want to be like this one? Oh, oh, that's so cute. No, you can't. Tough Santa. Tough Santa in the Voodoo Garden. Good morning. Welcome back to the Voodoo Garden. My name is Ray. I am the host of this nonsense I lovingly call the Voodoo Garden. And even though I talk tough to this one, I do love it. This is a pothos. This is actually two different kinds of pothos. A standard green pothos. And by pothos, I just mean a common everyday household vine. It's a common green pothos and also what's called a marble queen or variegated pothos. And I like the variegated better because they have more color distinction, but the green ones are more common. Take a look at this. Not so bad. If you would see this in anybody's house, you would think that's actually a nice healthy plant growing in a regular sized pot. Well, it is. And it's growing upstairs. It's not growing in the Voodoo Garden. It's growing upstairs in Mike the dishwasher's bedroom because he loves pothos. And he asked me, Ray, can you grow me one? So what I did was I took cuttings. I used to have a green one. I took cuttings off of it and put just a couple cuttings in here. And look what happened. They grew. And the thing is that their leaves aren't really that big. And I want to show you this. So here I come. Close up tour. It's full enough, healthy enough, nice green leaves, very unremarkable, yet pretty. There's the green one. And then as I turn it, without dropping it, you can see the marble queen. This is my favorite. I love the color on that. Now, they grow nice and healthy, not too sparse. See, these are wonderful at growing in low light, medium light. They really don't care. They're an all-purpose house plant that anybody can grow. Thing is, you don't want to overwater them. Their roots will rot. Thing is that their roots grow really fast. So there's kind of like a little different, a little variation there. You don't want to overwater them, yet they have a lot of roots, so they need a lot of water. So you want to make sure you give them a larger pot. That's where this one comes in. Now this one is growing really well. It's growing by a southern window, which is plenty of light, and it gets plenty of fertilizer. What it was growing in is potting soil. And then just a couple weeks ago, I put in some of the compost that I brought in here. I topped it off and put compost in there. And now it's not getting bigger leaves, but it is growing faster. Now, you might be wondering, why didn't the leaves get bigger? Well, are you wondering? Well, if you're wondering, or even if you're not, the reason the leaves didn't get any bigger, even though I gave it better food, you know, compost is a lot better than potting soil, is because the light, it's on a southern window, but it doesn't get light all day long. Whereas in the Voodoo Garden, I have some of the lights turned off just for filming. But when I'm not filming, I turn the lights on. With the lights on while I'm filming, it's too much glare. This is a marble queen pothos, just like the one I showed you. This one is from cuttings, and it's growing in a large pot with compost in the pot. So naturally it's going to be nice and healthy, have a good root system, but it has constant bright light all day long. And with bright light all day long and good fertilizer for the roots, you're going to get a larger leaf, and it's going to be fuller, and the color is going to be more striking. Now we move over here over the top. Hold on, I'll show these. I'll tell you about these in just a second, but right over here. See, the leaves are getting huge. This is what a pothos can do, and this is nothing compared to what they do out in the wild. People in Florida, they grow these outdoors, and their leaves are, they're ginormous. I can't even describe how big they are. That's because when a pothos grows, it trails off, and we think of them as vining, hanging plants, whereas in nature, they're a vine that grows up, not down. And then as they grow up, on the hidden side of these, they have what's called support roots. Now these support roots, where they hit soil or into bark, and where there's a lot of rain, they'll push their way into surfaces to hold the plant as it grows up, but they will also turn into regular roots and take in more moisture. So the farther it grows, the more roots it puts down. The more roots it puts down, the stronger it gets. If it doesn't set those roots down, the leaves will slowly get smaller, and see, it turns back into a normal plant. Now, if I were to grow this along the ground like this, as it set down roots, it would get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and there is no limit. So if you want to try something like this and you have the room for it, set out pots right next to your plant let it take root, don't cut it, and then when it goes out, sit it in another one, and chain these things around your room and watch how big and beautiful they get. They will get amazingly beautiful. Now, the yellow leaves I was going to show you, this is an issue I have in here that we didn't have upstairs. This is a dying leaf, this is a dying leaf. You're going to have these in your plants, not a problem. I just snip these out and throw them away. Not a problem at all. This one normally doesn't have very many dead leaves, but we had an issue here in the Garden of Voo just this week. And that issue was spider mites. Yes, I haven't had a spider mite attack this vicious in years. The last one I had was back when I lived in Minnesota, and I lovingly call it, and I say lovingly with a little bit of bite in my tongue, lovingly refer to it as the Great Spider Mite Invasion of 2012-2013. The spider mites came in through the screen of the window. I had a window open up there. It didn't get me light, but it did get me some ventilation because it's awful hot in there. And spider mites just blew in on the breeze. That's what they can do. They blow in off the breeze, they come in on your clothes, your hands, your pets, anything, new plants that you bring in, and they will spread on the wind like little tiny gossamer little demons on the wind, and they'll take over your plants. So if you have them on one plant, chances are you're going to have them on other plants. Well, I was just watering my plants, and something about it, it's kind of like I have this connection with my plants. Something about this spoke to me, and it was looking perfectly healthy, but something didn't quite look right to it. So I got my little goggles. These are my magnifying glass glasses, and they're really kind of cute. Hold on a second. And this would be them. Yeah, they look kind of ridiculous, but they really do come in handy because I have a magnifying glass, and that works all well and good, but sometimes you need more than just a regular magnifying glass can get you, and that's where these weird little contraptions come in handy. It has movable lenses so that you can look at it, one eye, both eyes, and then you also have lights on the side that'll shine down and light up your subject. These are way, way stronger than a regular magnifying glass. They were a gift for my birthday because Mike knows how much I love looking up close on plants, because you have to. You have to. And so I put these things on, I went up close, spider mites everywhere on this plant, and they were hiding. They just blended right in. Thing is, this plant is so healthy, it withstood the spider mites, but there was something about it that told me there's something wrong with it. So what I did was I got my spray bottle that has pyrethrin. I use pyrethrin because it's natural, and it leaves no residue on it, and it doesn't hurt me. It just kills those bugs, kills on contact with no residue. I use that. So I tried to spray it, and nothing came out of my spray bottle. And I thought, well, this is inconvenient. I need it right now. It turns out, most spray bottles that you can buy at the store, they have a rubber seal on the pump mechanism, and that, when combined with the oils in pesticides or herbicides, it dissolves that seal, and eventually your spray bottle won't work. So if you're using a spray bottle and it stops working, that's the reason. And I thought, well, I got to do something. So I dug around the house, and I remembered I had this for the Honeycrisp tree. I was treating it for fungus. And I had put in baking soda and water, and I had this half full for like 3 years in the basement. I dumped it out, sprayed it out, added more water to it, and added a little bit of pyrethrin, just as the label indicated. And what you do is, you just, for those of you who don't know, you pump this thing up, and then you use the wand, and it'll do either a mist or a stream. It's a wonderful thing. They don't cost that much. You can get them at Walmart or any big box store, or you can order them online. It's a wonderful thing to have if you have plants and you want to spray them. Outdoor garden, indoor garden, doesn't matter. Well, the issue I had was I sprayed it with pyrethrin, and I came back, I think it was 1 day later, 2 days later, and the spider mites were still alive. They withstood the pyrethrin, and that didn't settle well with me at all. If I want to kill you and you refuse to die, that kind of ticks me. I sound like a serial murderer, don't I? But only if you're a bug. Only if you're a bug. So what I did was I thought, you know what? Let's play this game. I put in double the pyrethrin, and I went for my big guns, neem, N-E-E-M. It's neem oil. It's made from a neem tree. That's another insecticide that I only use when I really mean business, and that leaves a residual too. So I dumped in neem as well, and then I shook it all up, pumped it up, gave it another spray. By the next day, there was nothing alive on here. Now, the reason I have these yellow leaves is because when you use these, even though they're natural, it is a stress factor on the plants. You may have a plant that's infested with insects. That's a stress. And the reason that they're being infested is because there's something going wrong with the plant. Usually healthy plants don't get infested that easily, okay? The insects usually go after the weaker plants. This one was a strong one. They went after it. Now what I did was I hit it once. That's all I normally do. And that may stress your plant even though it's natural. But I had to hit it twice, and I had to do a double whammy the second time. So that's a lot of stuff to being sprayed on your plant that's really not used to being sprayed at all. That's why a couple of these leaves turn yellow. That's not a problem. Now that the insects are gone, the plant is going to get back to normal. It's not going to lose any more leaves, just a few leaves. But you know what? That's the price when we wage war in our growing area. So I wanted to show you that. I also wanted to give you a few lessons in case you had any questions about insects. Neem or pyrethrin or any combination of the two is wonderful for indoor stuff. You don't want to spray it in your face, you don't want to eat it, you don't want to take a shower in it, but it is a lot better than getting those harsh chemicals and using those on your plants. Now, this one is going to grow a lot better. And this one is going to continue on its way upstairs. I'm not looking to get a record-setting looking plant, but this is what Mike wanted. This is what Mike got. He's not looking for something like this because he doesn't want lights in his room or any of that nonsense. So that's what we're going to be doing with this plant, taking it back upstairs. I wanted to show you the difference when you give it really good light, when you give it really good food, and root space. Those three things are the triad when you're doing indoor gardening to get a big, beautiful, healthy plant. Case in point, Prince of Orange. Yeah, y'all like this one. And you know what? I'm going to be giving you close-ups of some plants because they're doing really, really well. And they're doing really, really well for a reason. This is, like I told you, I put the compost in all of these plants. And I wanted to show you the health and the vigor that's going on so that if you want to try this with your home plants, you can do it as well. A lot of folks will ask me, and they do, a lot of folks, literally a lot, not a little, a lot of folks will ask me, Ray, how do your plants look so healthy? I can't get mine looking like that. Nothing special. Nothing special. Those three things, if you can give your plants those three things, trust me, I'll stake my reputation on it. Those three things, your plants will grow every bit as well as mine. Light, root space, good soil. Those are the three things. And also you don't want to overwater them. This Prince of Orange got so healthy. It was doing good. It started out as a small plant from Walmart, and I got it on sale for a few bucks, and it grew in the last year. And since I put the compost in, I mentioned in the last program, I was going to give you a close-up of what it's doing. And I guess I'm going to give you a close-up, even though what it's doing isn't really that remarkable. Take a look. This, of course, is a philodendron, and they are stunning plants. I've grown a split-leaf philodendron, and it's called Monstera. If you ever want to grow something that's spectacular, grow one of those. Holy cow, and step back because you will need room. This is not the Monstera. This is called Prince of Orange. The green is a stunning, beautiful forest green, like a hunter green, and it has a shine, a natural shine to it. But as the leaves come out, they start out a different color. Many of you remember this, and I'm going to show you for the folks who don't know. This is why it's called Prince of Orange. Look at the color on this leaf. It's a beauty, red, like an evening sunset orangish red. And then as they mature, they turn this subtle brown. And then as they mature further, they turn the beautiful green. It does three different things. Now, what it will do is it will grow up, or it will climb, or it will trail. But if you give it plenty of the three things that I tell you, this little unremarkable thing here, and if I turn your head, this is not a new shoot. This right here is a new shoot. This right here is a flower. Yes, they will put out flowers, and they're very unremarkable. It looks like a little Cheeto, like a little red Cheeto. That's all its flowers are. These ones don't even open. And if they do, they don't really do much. So if you have flowers on your philodendron, there really is no need to let them bloom because it saps energy from your plant. And these plants are grown mainly for the beauty in their leaves. This is one plant. And it was one plant in a small pot. And then one part of it vined over to the right, and I buried it underneath the soil. And as I mentioned in so many programs I can't count, when you bury a stem of some plants, they put down extra roots and they get stronger. And that's why this plant looks like two. And eventually I may take the one from the right that's going over the side of the pot, cut it, root it, and do the same thing I did with dumb cane. And as we swing over to the right, That's the dumb cane. That's what I'm talking about. You can root it from cuttings. This one's doing really well. I'm not going to focus on this, but I wanted to show you that they will root just like the philodendron. Now what I do want to show you is, we swing over to the left again, nice and smooth, because you know, I'm a pro. This is the Schefflera that I butchered back, and I wanted to show you what happens. You take good care of it, you butcher it back, and look, it's got that palm tree effect. Yep. New stuff growing from all the tips, not a single spider mite or aphid. Yeah, I was having issues with that, but this is what I had to do. It was a lot easier than treating it, and now it's going to grow more like a bonsai. And it's going to be better than ever. I have a layer of compost on the top, and that's giving a new lease on life. And this also, the peace lily, is getting a new lease as well. I put a little layer down here. This one I have to water a little bit more often because it decided to flower. Yep. And the flowers never produce seeds, but they are kind of pretty. And the white, the bright white and the green of the flowers really does strike against the dark green, the shiny leaves. This is not one of those ones, I believe, that's going to get huge, like 4 feet tall. I believe this is just going to stay small. But I could be wrong. Yeah, what the heck. We're in the corner. I might as well show you that thing. This was the night blooming cereus, I think is what it was called. This is the wilted leaf somebody sent me in the mail, and I planted it. It grew a leaf. Remember I showed you that? And the leaf grew leaves off of it. Well, it also put that stem out. And here is that stem. I had to stand it in the corner because it was starting to fall over. And I want this thing to grow up in the corner. And yeah, I'm panning up. This is what happened. It was just a stem last time you saw it. And now the stem has put out leaves. Yes, it has. So those leaves are going to grow and put out leaves just like the other leaves. And I imagine this thing is just going to grow right up in the corner, and I'll tie the leaves onto this lattice as it grows all the way to the ceiling. And with any luck, we'll have it bloom sometime in the night, and I'll get a picture of that. Oh, it's going to be probably months or years from now, but I'm not going anywhere, neither are you. Right up from the night blooming doodad is a rather unremarkable, yet soon I'm hoping it will be remarkable. Do you know what this is? Take a guess, outdoor gardeners. Do you know what this is? This is sweet potato. Yes, I'm growing a sweet potato outside. You've seen that if you watch my outdoor programs. I took a little cutting, sprayed it to make sure it had no bugs, planted the slip in some rich compost soil right here on the shelf, and it's right underneath the light, the LED strip light, so it's going to get plenty of light. And of course it has the lattice, and I'm hoping, and I'm pretty sure what it's going to do is grow, spread, split, and cover this entire wall with sweet potato vine. That's going to look nice. And then over here, I'm going to switch on over. Right over here is the philodendron, another philodendron. This is that little one that looked really crappy in the pot, and a lot of people laughed because it was a little one and I spread it out, put it in a pot. It's not looking so silly now. It's starting to fill out, and it's also starting to vine. My hope is this one will grow and I can train the vines to go up along this wall. Yes, it will. And you might have noticed a little one right next to it. This was sent to me by a friend in Texas. Yep. And take a look at this. He has a gardening channel. It's called The More You Grow. Yes, The More You Grow. And he does gardening outside, and he enjoys gardening of all types. He's going to school, I believe college, to learn more about it, but he knows quite enough as it is. And he has a great speaking voice. I really like watching his programs. But look at this. This arrived in the mail from Texas, and it's a dragon fruit. Yeah, remember I had one in here, and I got rid of it, and I got another one. So I guess it's just the universe telling me, Ray, you got to grab these. When I got this, it was just this itty-bitty little thing. And in just the time, like what is it, a couple weeks, I've been trying to figure out what to plant it in, what pot. It's already starting to spread. And this one, unlike normal ones, this doesn't put out red fruit or red flowers, it puts out yellow. So that's a little bit more uncommon. Yeah, everything's a little uncommon in the Voodoo Garden. A cute little cactus. Thanks, Eric. I really do appreciate it. And those of you who want to check out Eric's channel, I'm giving him a shout out, not because he sent me a gift, but because I really do like his stuff. something about the way he speaks. He could definitely be quite the gardener just by his voice alone. You know, some people mention that they like the sound of my voice when I read my stories and talk. I like listening to him because he also has a good program, but also the way he speaks. He has a Texas accent, and for some reason it works really well with what he's doing. And so I really do enjoy that. And this little bugger, I will call him Eric. Yes, I will. And Eric is going to grow in here and probably take over the wall too. You saw my last one did. And this one's going to have the benefit of compost in the soil. So I think it's going to do really well. That pretty much wraps it up for the Voodoo Garden. And if you have any questions, concerns, or you just want to say in the comment section it goes. One of my little buddies here will get back to you with an answer as soon as possible. Until next time, this is Ray and his little friends. We're out of here. Ray's little friends as in no insects. Plant friends. Bugs are not my friend. Oh, but you know what? Yeah, I thought I was going to go, but you know what? That was a lie. I do have one last thing I want to show you. I do have little friends in the Voodoo Garden, and they do help out. This may creep you out, may not creep you out. I really don't care, but I'm going to show you anyway. Insects come in here, and I try to control them as naturally as possible. I don't like stomping on everything or squeezing bugs. It's just not my thing. I don't like killing things. Only when I absolutely have to. You know, like the spider mites. I can't talk to them. They can't talk to me, so they have to die. Well, I have little friends that are helping me, and I just noticed them over here recently. A mom and her babies. Take a look at this. Beetles, centipedes, millipedes, you name it. They walk into the Voodoo Garden because, you know, that's what happens when you have a basement room. You're going to have insects down here, but if you're not skittish, you do have friends that can help you with this. And there's a spider right here, and she has 4 egg sacs. Those are her babies. It's like a Charlotte's Web kind of thing going on. She made 4 egg sacs, and just recently they hatched. And I'm going to just move the camera in close and give you a shot. Look really close. I know, she's not happy to see me, and I'll get out of her way. Look at the little babies in there. Little tiny dots. Yep, that was just one of them. Okay, I'll get away from you. She doesn't want me messing with her babies, and I don't want to mess with her because she's going to be a helper, and so are her hundreds of little ones. They're harmless. These spiders are harmless to humans. They're not going to bother me. I've had them in here for years, but they are going to help me with the insects, especially during the winter. Little helpers in the Garden of Voo.